Internet, good seeing you. If you're unfamiliar with my face but you're subscribed somehow, good chance it was one of these.
Svetlana Dali, a U.S. permanent resident and Russian national, has once again become the subject of a law enforcement investigation after attempting to evade capture.
Still here? Great. Today we're talking about Marques Brownlee stirring up a bit of controversy, with some body cam footage of him getting pulled over for various reasons having gone viral. Logan Paul and Conor McGregor may be hitting the ring for the next influencer ballet, and GrubHub is coughing up $25 million in a settlement over, quote, harmful practices. All in today's
Was nothing real.
episode of But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Hey Alice, can you pull up that MKBHD file first?
Police body cam footage shows tech reviewer Marques Brownlee being pulled over multiple times for various traffic violations over the past year and a half.
If you've come to appreciate Marques Brownlee solely for his polished tech reviews, you know, his ability to dissect the latest smartphones, electric vehicles, and cutting-edge AI tools with calm, methodical approach. Now, having previously faced criticism for speeding on camera, then proceeding to delete the footage and more or less saying he doesn't normally behave like that. But as it turns out, over the last year and a half, Brownlee has been pulled over multiple times. Not only for speeding well beyond minor increments, but also driving with heavily tinted windows, missing front plates, and other infractions that can't be written off as a momentary lapse in judgment. Now, I'm not saying those things are necessarily bad. A car without limo tint is basically blasphemy, but I think the problem here is that he tried to cover up the behavior. Considering the timeline, in June of 2023, he's driving a Tesla with excessive window tints and no license on hand. The officer issues a ticket and tells him to get his paper sorted immediately. No major consequences, it's really not that big of a crime. Fast forward to June of 2024, and he's caught going 59 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. Still, the officers opt to reduce the infractions, issuing a lighter citation rather than stacking points on his license. By August, it's more of the same: tinted windows, illegal plate covers, missing front plates, and a tinted windshield. I mean, at this stage, it's clearly less a one-time slip-up and more of a recurring pattern. Again, I get it though, things like that just make a car look prettier. Now, his silence to date, at least as of recording, has left viewers wondering whether he considers himself exempt from ordinary standards of conduct or if he simply hopes the issues will just fade away. As the footage continues to circulate, we're left wondering if this type of behavior will have any effect on Marques's public image. I mean, I really doubt it. Most people probably walk away seeing this as really nothing more than a guy that loves cars. Because, I mean, in the world of internet personalities, there are some people that rightfully deserve the hate.
My hawk meme coin is live!
Conor McGregor has shot down claims of a bout with Ilia Topuria, revealing he's instead entered preliminary agreements to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India.
Look, let's not pretend that this is at all about athletic pride or who's a better fighter. Conor McGregor and Logan Paul clearly see a prime opportunity to rake in a fortune, and they seem more than happy to follow a familiar formula. Just recall the recent rumors swirling around brother Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. The mere suggestion that the two would share a ring, real or not, sparked endless chatter and heightened expectations for a multi-million-dollar payout. McGregor and Logan likely realized that the only thing more lucrative than a legitimate fight is one where the spectacle overshadows the substance. From the sound of it, we've got the soon-to-be classic setup. One legendary fighter coming off a long layoff, and one influencer turned boxer who thrives on generating headlines. Neither man needs to prove anything to their diehard fans here. They're not stepping into this match to sort out who's got the cleaner jab or more polished footwork. This is about tapping into the ever-expanding market of casual viewers who love a good circus. The kind who will shell out a pay-per-view not because they expect a competitive showdown, but because they want to witness a bizarre cultural event. Positioning the fight in India, facilitated by the incredibly wealthy and influential Ambani family, only sweetens the deal. It's not just a boxing match now, it's an international media extravaganza, a tailor-made frenzy of social media hype, crossover audiences, and global curiosity. If at any part this ends up looking more like a staged drama than legitimate combat, well, McGregor and Logan Paul can always lean on the exhibition label. It's a built-in excuse to focus on showmanship over substance. You know, maximizing paychecks without risking the kind of career damage a serious bout might inflict. In short, both men seem to have realized that authenticity isn't the point here anymore. The money's in the spectacle, baby! And the spectacle thrives when fans can't quite tell, at least until it's too late. if they're watching a real sporting contest or an overblown publicity stunt. If the public buys in, they can now laugh their way all the way to the bank. And maybe toss a few winks in afterwards. You know, really remind us that today's fight business sometimes has more in common with professional wrestling than a genuine athletic competition.
GrubHub agreed to pay $25 million to settle claims that the delivery platform deceived customers, drivers, and restaurants.
Alright, so here we have yet another food delivery giant getting slapped on the wrist for shady behavior. This time, it's GrubHub, the one platform I didn't work for. Apparently, their strategy involved pumping up their restaurant numbers by listing businesses without the owner's knowledge or consent. It might have looked good on the surface. Hey, look at us! We've got infinite dining options. But when diners got stuck with the higher delivery fee, it was basically a double FU moment. Because when you think about it, a restaurant's reputation also takes a hit since the customer is most likely going to blame them for the mystery fees, even though some of these businesses never asked to be part of GrubHub's portfolio in the first place. In other words, GrubHub's growth play was basically, let's throw everyone in a pot and see who complains. But obviously, the screwing didn't stop with just the restaurants. The FTC says diners were lured in by promises of low-cost deliveries, only to be dinged with so-called service and small order fees that weren't as upfront as they should have been. Drivers, too, were apparently led to believe that they'd earn a certain amount, which often didn't square with the reality of things. Yeah, that adds up. That adds up. The whole thing reads like a classic overreach. Stretch the brand's presence, fool the algorithms, and hope no one notices you're playing fast and loose with the rules. It's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Unsurprisingly, the approach didn't hold up under scrutiny. Now, the result is a $25 million payout. It was originally supposed to be $140 million, but GrubHub argued that writing the full check would be too destructive. The settlement also comes with conditions to clean up their act. You know, no more unaffiliated restaurants listed, no more trick fees, clearer rules for the drivers, and simpler ways for customers to cancel their memberships. That last rule, I feel like, needs to be a bit more universal. GrubHub naturally denies doing anything too egregious, chalking it up to misunderstandings or outdated practices. I'm sorry you misunderstood that I was lying and I was gonna screw you over in the long run. Maybe I'll be more clear with it next time. They claim full transparency is the goal moving forward. In other words, they're admitting that they know. They borderline have to say that. Now, whether we see real honest-to-goodness reform or just more careful attempts at masking fees remains to be seen. But if I was a betting man... In the bigger picture, we have seen the pressure mounting on third-party delivery services for piling on fees and leaving both diners and restaurants feeling like they've been taken for a ride. That is also pretty universal across these types of platforms, not just the food ones. And as these platforms keep scrambling to present themselves as the saviors of convenience, it's becoming increasingly obvious that if no one's watching the henhouse, they're just gonna keep finding ways to fill their pockets. Hey, hi there. Before we go, I just wanted to throw in a quick honorable mention. So polls are showing that a pretty sizable chunk of younger respondents, around 4 in 10, are finding the perma-firing of that one CEO acceptable. Meanwhile, older generations are a lot less comfortable with it, giving a new, shall we say, twist to the usual generational divides we hear about. That's right, 40% of the younger generations they're okay with it. Make that what you will of it. But it's clear that when it comes to particular industries, emotions and opinions are running unusually hot. Appropriately hot, but unusual nonetheless. And on that piece of... Get me out of here! I'm gonna call it. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Now do me that last solid and smash that like button. Feel that big YouTuber energy right there? Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye.